This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Now, back to the Larry Kudlow Show.
So the decline of the New York legal system continues. Yesterday, we got a decision by this Judge Mershon for unconditional discharge. In other words, these trumped-up charges about paperwork mistakes, disclosure, non-disclosure actions, built into a felony, built into more weaponization. And nobody cares about this stuff, but it is destroying the legal system. But maybe it's the end. Maybe we're coming to the end of this. Let's talk to our pal Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst. Gregg's latest book is The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. I mean, Gregg, you're a historian, patriotic documents. One of my favorite presidents, Ulysses S. Grant, U.S. Grant. Some people say the U.S. was unconditional surrender Grant. And when I heard this, I'm obviously not a lawyer, but when I heard unconditional discharge, I just thought of that. Really what's going on here is unconditional surrender of the weaponizers and the lawfarers. But then again, that may be somewhat fanciful.
Well, it was an unconditional surrender by Judge Juan Mershon, who, invited Trump to appear virtually with the guarantee that just let me get through the sentencing and there won't be any punishment, no incarceration, no fine, no probation, no nothing. To me, that's a surrender by the judge. And in fact, what was so Orwellian about it yesterday is the judge openly admitted that from the very beginning, these charges didn't carry any punishment with them under New York law. So think about it. Millions and millions of dollars were deployed to destroy Trump, and for what? What were essentially expired misdemeanors that carried no punishment whatsoever. I mean, this is the quintessential abuse of the law. It's disgusting. It's shameful.
Gregg Jarrett, what happens to all these fines that, the New York Attorney General wanted and Bragg wanted? I mean, and, blowing up, you have to leave. You can't do business in New York anymore. What happens to all that stuff?
Well, it's on its deathbed. It's on life support, and it's time to pull the plug. And I think the higher appellate court indicated that they're going to do that during the oral arguments in which they looked at Letitia James in disbelief and said, wait a minute. There are no victims here. Valuations of assets and property are subjective. You're bringing a case in which the lenders who were allegedly defrauded, according to you, Ms. Attorney General, said they were more than happy to lend even more money because they made truckloads of profits off of this. So what you have done, Letitia James, is you have misapplied and distorted the law to bring what appears to us to be a targeted case against somebody for political reasons. And I think they're going to knock that case down.
89% of business leaders say AI is a top priority. The right choice is crucial, which is why teams at 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies use Grammarly. Grammarly is the right AI assistant for your team. With top-tier security credentials and 15 years of experience in responsible AI, Grammarly is how companies like yours increase productivity while keeping data protected and private. See why 70,000 teams trust Grammarly at Grammarly.com/enterprise.
You know, we were talking last night. I mean, look, you and I both respect and I think adore Alan Dershowitz, Professor Dershowitz, emeritus. But he was letting Merrick Garland off pretty scot-free, and you didn't and I didn't. But, you know, I just, you read down to the last few years that these folks, all of them, whether it's Letitia James or Bragg or the Fannie Willis stuff down in Atlanta, and, of course, Jack Smith, all this, these people were coached in the Justice Department or they were coached in the White House counsel's office. I mean, I just can't let Merrick Garland off the hook. I can't let anybody off the hook. Certainly can't let Joe Biden off the hook. I believe, as a non-lawyer, I believe this was a political campaign to basically throw Trump in jail for hundreds of years and destroy his career once and for all.
Yeah, and they wanted to do it to throw the election in favor of Democrats. Mm-hmm. Talk about election interference. That is the prime example of it. So, you make a great point, Larry, as always. I think it's imperative that the incoming Department of Justice open a comprehensive investigation into this lawfare campaign by Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Fannie Willis. It is no coincidence, Larry, that they launched their cases right after Trump announced his candidacy. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jack Smith was appointed 3 days after Trump made his announcement, and their goal was to weaponize the law to defeat him. And there is credible evidence that they were working in concert, and they coordinated their Get Trump assault. Nathan Wade, the hired gun prosecutor in Fulton County, visited the White House, not once but twice. Bragg's chief prosecutor resigned from Biden's DOJ to join Alvin Bragg and go after Trump. There's evidence that Smith and the FBI doctored photos to incriminate Trump down at Mar-a-Lago during the raid there. All of this smacks of a collusion conspiracy, and if laws were broken, these prosecutors should be held accountable.
Well, I think that I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think Pam Bondi, who will be the Attorney General, she's fabulous, and Kash Patel running the FBI, they need to investigate. I don't know that – I bet punishments and retribution on that score, I don't know. I'm not sure I want to see all that. But a clear investigation that would be published, let the public read it and stuff, I think that stuff, by itself would be enough punishment so that people will never let this kind of weaponized and lawfare occur again, or at least in the next couple generations.
I agree. Lawfare should not beget even more lawfare.
Right.
However, if it is determined, if there are documents and testimony and whistleblowers who say this was done deliberately to injure constitutional rights, there are 2 federal felony statutes that make it a crime for people to conspire to deprive or injure somebody's constitutional rights, 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242. And those rights are running for office, the right to vote, interference in an election. The current Department of Justice brought that kind of a criminal prosecution against individuals involving a previous presidential election. And the new Department of Justice could do it again against lawfare conspirators if the evidence is there, but only if there's evidence.
All right. Thank you. Gregg Jarrett, terrific Fox News legal analyst. His book, by the way, Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Appreciate it. We'll take a break and then do some stock market work on the other side. I'm Kudlow.